Hello YouTube. Wow, just watched the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery. Very interesting episode. Where do we start? Well, last week we found out that the Klingon Empire had conquered the Federation, which according to historical records they never did. But so this week we found out they only conquered a bit of the Federation, which we all knew that was the case. And then we got into sort of the episode with the Empress beaming over from the Terran Empire, and they locked her up in a nice room upstairs, and Michael Burnham went on the bridge, and Saru said we're being contacted by a Federation ship, and Admiral Collins beams on board, and they thought they were destroyed because when they transposed places in both universes, the ISS Discovery got destroyed. So the question is there a Lorca still out there? I hope so, because his name was in the credits of this episode, unless that's a leftover thing. I don't know, is there a hint there? But that could be me just jumping at anything. So we moved on into episode. I love the guy that plays Sarek. He's such an interesting character. I was a bit wary about Sarek coming into this in the beginning, but he's really grown on me. He's really logical and like how you expect him to be, full of wisdom. He's like an advisor to all these high-powered personnel at Federation, even though he's an ambassador. His wisdom seems to hold. Michael dealt with romantic problems with Tyler, or Vox, and it was just an episode joining threads together and moving into the big finale for next week, the final episode. So I thought, I'll go into that in a minute, and then we sort of moved it through, and I like the bit where Admiral Collins went to see the Klingon L'Rell, and she said to her, look, what's going on, we're having a war, and there's no demands, it's not about territory, what is it about? And she said, I loved her answer. She said, we won't stop. It's not, once we've tasted your blood, we just won't stop. You've got to, for you to stop us, you have to conquer us. Now, if you go back to the Organian episode, he said that. You remember Koloff? I think it was Kang. No, it wasn't. It was Koloff, I think. But on the Organian planet, he said to Kirk, he said, if we conquer everywhere and then we get conquered, that's how it plays out, because that's who we are. Sort of, they're quite similar things to that. So she's got an idea of what she's dealing with, because Starfleet tactics haven't been working. They've been a bit of they've been pussyfooting around. So obviously this battle must change their entire war footing for the next generation. They changed their battle tactics after this, because the Klingons are bloody ruthless. They're not going to pussyfoot around at Klingons. They're a bloodthirsty bunch. So obviously I'm surprised that that the Federation, with the human race being quite a warlike species in its past, that they would have adopted methods. Yet again, the mentality of centuries that mankind had evolved. Yet the Andorians are quite a warrior race as well. So there's a lot of questions there, but this is all in their past, and everybody's more together and working as one. It was interesting what L'Rell said about the Federation, about homogenization and socialism and all that. It was quite politically charged, that one, about how they're going around Federation simulating everybody into this utopia. But I'm a great believer in Federation. I wish we lived in a world like that. It'd be rather cool. But I'm going to probably be called a communist now for saying that. As Star Trek socialism. I'm only joking. So we moved along. Burnham goes and sees the Empress. Michelle Yeoh is just marvellous. You can tell she's loved doing this. She loves that power, and she loves playing this part. She's so passionate about it. She's great. And she says, well, in your universe, you basically conquered everybody. So how do we sort them out? And she told her, she said, you've got to be fucking ruthless. But there is a way of doing it, and that's strike at their own planet. And it does make sense that if they go out and do Kronos in, they'll probably surrender, because Kronos likes at Klingons, a big sacred thing to them, a plus and a front. But there was another way as well, which she's sort of holding back. So Sarek went in to see, she wanted to see Sarek, and he went in, and the deal was made that obviously they're going to somehow send her back. It was interesting when they had a meeting on the bridge about the mirror universe being classified and this. But I mean, it's about time DS9 comes out. A lot of people seem to know about the mirror universe. So obviously when Kirk crosses over in 10 years' time, you know, that incident must have been made, that'll have been in his ship logs, it probably wasn't classified. But at this moment, this whole mirror thing's classified, it makes sense. Now, they went up to this planet called Beta 5 or something, I think it was called, to recreate the spores in the beta system, which were interesting. Because, I mean, there is, obviously, if you go into continuity and all this, there is questions to be asked, but I'm not going to lie. Somebody yesterday said to me, he's not well, he's watched a couple of episodes, but he's into Star Trek like me, and he doesn't want to go along with it, because I get why some people don't want to watch this, you know, but like I said, this is a the old generation, this will be their Star Trek, and it's going to be interesting when they jump back. It's like Doctor Who, when the new Doctor came out. In came a new Doctor, so all the younger ones went back 50 years to watch all the back stuff, to get his entire history, because they were hungry for it. And it's going to be interesting to see a lot of people going back to it. I've got nephews and nieces that have never seen it, so if they're watching this, they'll be like, oh, what's the next generation? What's Captain Kirk? And they're going to go back. So it's quite an interesting experience. But back to Discovery, Burnham goes and sees Empress, and basically they come up with an amazing plan. Now, last couple of weeks, when they played the Lorca card of him being an alternative universe and stuff, being the mirror version, and it were all revealed the other week, I thought they played out the big sort of thing of the whole series, which, because a friend of mine said, he said, well, where they're going to go after this, what they're going to pull out next. They've released this a bit too early, but we did say a couple of episodes there will be some kind of big reveal by episode 12, and I was right on that. But it was interesting, because I thought when they jumped from Mirrorverse and went 9 months into the future, I thought how this would end is that they go back through time and undo everything of this series. You know, because Star Trek's never been really good at the time travel get out clause. I mean, they've had some sort of bad episodes when they've used it. But no, they didn't. I was surprised, because I was expecting in this episode that time travel, they were going to prepare to go back and undo everything, but they haven't. And where this finished today was quite a surprise. I suspected they would put her in charge, but when the Empress came on as Captain Georgiou tonight, it was just incredible. It was lovely seeing Michelle Yeoh as Captain Georgiou. I know it's the Empress, but the whole crew thought it was there. They just didn't know. And she's going to turn up on Kronos. Obviously, I think she might. They'll probably kill her off in final episode, but I think she's going to kick ass, because she's bloodthirsty and she'll be relentless. But it's interesting how the Federation now are going to start using mirror methods to achieve victory, because there's no way to defeat the Klingons. You've got to go full on with them or damage them so badly spiritually or in some kind of way. So this is where they're at now. They're gonna have to do something they can't do. They can't sit there, Federation Council, being smug. They've got to do something dirty. That's why you've got people like Section 31 and all this, I suppose. You know. But they're going to have to do something. Or the Klingons will attack Earth, which is going to be interesting. I liked Collins' speech across the ship, was really cool. And I loved the mention of Jonathan Archer there 100 years ago. And it's continuity. But they did say about final episode, a lot of things are going to be sort of explained. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to come up with. Mate, I mean, as I said to my friend yesterday when I was at this comic thing, I said, look, there's several ways of seeing this. Either don't question it, watch it and enjoy it for what it is. Now, that's where I've gone. And the connections are there is vast connections. And it's Star Trek, so it's open to an infinite sort of thing. Or this could be just set in another universe. I mean, you could say it's everything's the same. It's just a different aspect of the history of this other timeline. And you could go with that. So, I mean, either way you see this, I know it's meant to be in the Prime universe, but some people are not comfortable because it's not continue with the technology and other stuff. But no, just put yourself above that. You can do it. It's either just take it one of them ways for me. So, but this episode, when she walks onto the bridge tonight and she said, you know, let's go kick some ass, and she, Captain Phillips, Georgia Phillips were back, sat on that chair, and it was awesome. What a great way to finish. You see, they've been very sneaky in this, because when we saw the trailers to Star Trek Discovery, we were like, some of us were not happy, you know, and then a lot of people, you remember all the stuff on the internet, people weren't going to watch it, and people, no, they can't do this and they can't do that, they've killed Star Trek. But they've done one episode in this series where it was like a proper Star Trek episode. You know, and it was, so they are capable of making a weekly self-exploration series of Star Trek. They can do it, which is interesting. But I don't know what to make of this Star Trek series. Look, I love Discovery. I think it's superb. I do. I think each way, I think the writing on this has just been brilliant. They're on the ball, and every week there's a twist and a turn, and they're bringing something in, and just as you think they've run out of cards, they do something else, and they've worked this out very nicely, and they pulled in some beautiful Trek stuff from the other series, and hence, even when you walk on the bridge, you've got the noises. You know, it's the medical bay model. It's almost like quite similar to the ones in the other series. I mean, they've touched it nicely. I know that there's things that don't make sense, but obviously there'll be explanations for this. They will come up with something. But I will say, I do have a problem with the Klingons. I am really trying, guys. But, you know, where's the other Klingons? That's what I want to know. Because I thought we'd see them. I thought Tyler might have been one of the human Klingons, you know. And that. But obviously, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But they're out there. They exist. And we know that. So, the House of Darrell is now conquering more parts of Federation than the rest of them, then they're fighting a war. Because the Klingons can't fight a war on two fronts. So if I suppose, if they could strike at him and take him out and damage the old Klingon thing, it's all going to fall in. So I think their plan can work, I really do. And it's going to be interesting next week. Are they going to leave us on a cliffhanger till season 2? Do you remember at Next Gen it used to finish, we always got a cliffhanger till next series. So they're going to do that. It's going to be interesting if they do. We're all sat there at the end of the seat and it's not back till next year. So that's my open-minded review of Star Trek Discovery for this episode. Next week's the final, and it's going to be big, and I just can't wait. What a fantastic episode, and the characters have just been marvellous. So roll on next week. I mean, last week there was some faults in the episode about the attack and how when they were all fighting in the Great Hall. I mean, yeah, there were things you could pull apart and stuff, but you know, overall, just enjoyed this for what it is. So, guys, live long and prosper. And I think the Discovery ship's out on Wednesday on Eaglemoss magazines. So I've ordered that, and hopefully I should have it Wednesday. Right then, I will see you then, guys. Have a great evening. Live long and prosper.